So ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Bills just ended up wrapping joint practice with the Pittsburgh Steelers just about an hour or so ago. And I wanted to hop on and give you some of my key takeaways based off of everything the beat reporters have been saying, some of my own observations, and then also we have to discuss Matt Milano. I was live a bit earlier when the news did break. Obviously, I was trying to pose as a therapist, right? A solid therapy session for losing out on our linebacker. After all of my observations from practice, we're going to dive into that, and then hopefully I can convince you that the Buffalo Bills will just be fine. Although it's one of the worst pieces of news we've had all preseason. Now, right before I dive into everything, folks, I want to remind everybody that I am giving away this absolutely beautiful signed Keon Coleman mini helmet, thanks to Pristine Auction. In case you haven't heard of Pristine Auction, they are the #1 auction house on the internet. It is the go-to place for all signed memorabilia from all sports, pop culture, you name it. Signing up with the link in my description gets you started in bringing home some of the goodies like that Keon Coleman signed mini helmet. And after your first winning bid, if you use my code DMITCH10, you will get $10 off. Basically helping you as you continue your collector's journey. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, Dan, how do I enter this contest? It's quite simple. You need to be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, and you also need to follow me on X and like and retweet my pinned posts. It's very simple, and I will be announcing the winner on Saturday evening when I give you my live play-by-play reaction of the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So here we go. So yeah, the Buffalo Bills ended up traveling down to Pittsburgh, and everybody was all obsessed with the loss of Matt Milano, but there was a couple of things that actually ended up looking pretty good from the Buffalo Bills side. Outside of a couple of injuries, okay, we saw Javon Solomon was out for a little bit. He walked out, but it turned out that he only ended up having some sort of injury right to his groin area, just a little nut tap, if you will, so nothing to see there. We saw that Dorian Williams, the guy that is supposed to be next up on the depth chart, all right, he ended up getting looked at by trainers, which is certainly upsetting. Hopefully it's nothing serious, since we need to have such a huge production and a rise to the occasion moment from this young man. So all of these injuries, man, are so frustrating, especially when we get into this part of the season. But starting off with the good, let's just say that Josh Allen was absolutely on point. He was hitting Khalil Shakir left and right, while Keon Coleman did struggle at first to gain separation from a couple of the Steelers' DBs. He did end up making up for it with a tremendous move, Josh Allen connecting with him, and that's something that we want to see out of this rookie wide receiver. I'm not going to lie to you, the second I saw that update where he was struggling creating separation, I just started cringing just thinking of like all of my friends over at Roundtable Sports, what they were going to say to me, like troll me, but I'm so glad that he had that opportunity, and now he needs to be able to show that he can be that guy on Saturday evening and put that damn body control and hands right on display. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills run game as well, folks. Ray Davis out there is steady impressing. A lot of reporters are saying that this running back is reminded of a wide receiver. The way that he runs routes, he is a true threat in the pass-catching game. Now, it's funny because I think we can all remember the highlight reel of James Cook dropping passes in very key situations. Is Ray Davis potentially the overall replacement for James Cook? We're just going to have to see how he progresses preseason week 2, but things are looking very, very good for RB2 going into 2024. Now, next highlight has to be some of our other pass catchers. I already mentioned Keon Coleman, mentioned what Ray Davis was doing to the Steelers defense, but this should come to a surprise to nobody. Dalton Kincaid absolutely putting on a clinic out in Pittsburgh during practice. Corner routes galore, deep routes galore. Like, this guy can create separation better than anybody. And I am still, stand put that this guy is going to be the #1 option for the Buffalo Bills, for Josh Allen in this passing offense. Absolutely lock down any set of over under 1,000 yards for this young tight end. It's going to be beautiful. And shout out Mac Hollins, folks. Again, Mac Hollins, after a trick play during red zone work, Mac Hollins literally crossed crossed the goal line and started screaming 10 toes. His energy is there. Matt Collins, very much like Curtis Samuel, never really had a pairing of a solid quarterback in his entire career. Matt Collins, who initially we thought was going to be exclusively a special teams contributor, might even be a bigger piece to this offense than we initially anticipated. I am loving this new look offense for the Buffalo Bills. It was actually demonstrated against an actual NFL team today during practice. Show it to me again on Saturday night. As far as defense is concerned, we did see some splashes. We saw an AJ Epinesa would-be sack, a couple of other great plays. First run play with Najee Harris was certainly an issue. Like, he absolutely just buttered right up the middle and got a massive gain. But afterwards, the defensive line did start making some adjustments, started stuffing back-to-back run attempts out of Pittsburgh. So hopefully we see more of that on Saturday evening. Overall, outside of the slew of injuries that I did mention, we saw Dorian Williams went down. We saw Balin Spector. Once again, he was being looked at by trainers. This linebacker core just can't catch a break. It's driving me crazy. But stay healthy. That's all that I need to see. Now, going into Matt Milano, I know that several of you tuned into my live stream earlier this afternoon, and of course you saw me freaking out, because that's typically how it looks when you first hear that piece of dreadful news, if you will. And I'll tell you what, I ended up sitting back and I started thinking of this at more of a calm level. And in my opinion, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be completely fine in 2024 without him for a variety of reasons. When he went down in Week 5 last year against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Buffalo Bills proceeded to go 8-4. Right? We saw the arrival of Terrell Bernard. Several of us had a lot of question marks. We didn't know how he was going to perform after we shipped Edmonds off to the Chicago Bears. And what the Buffalo Bills defense started doing was that they started running several dime packages, meaning where Bernard was the only linebacker on the field and they had 3 safeties out there. So if anybody is concerned that this coaching staff, this defensive-minded coaching staff, does not have the ability to adjust without Matt Milano, simply just turn on the tape from last year. Sean McDermott and this defensive coaching staff was able to rally an absolute battered Buffalo Bills defense without him. So that should make us feel a tad better. We have heard that Matt Milano may be able to come back in December, and so I'm certainly hoping that that is the case, but I feel like all of us need to really come to the realization that unfortunately we may even see a Von Miller-esque situation. When Von Miller was out for that long, he came back after Week 5. It took him a long time to get going. In fact, he never did in 2023. First time we started getting excited about Von Miller was during training camp just a couple of weeks ago. So I pray that that is not the same case for Matt Milano, but certainly something that we should at least expect to see from that linebacker. Plus, here's an even more difficult pill to swallow. If Matt Milano, does come back in December, or God forbid that he doesn't come back all of 2024, and Dorian Williams actually ends up becoming the linebacker that we think that he is. He showed flashes in being absolutely elite in the pass coverage scheme as far as the linebacker role. And Matt Milano may very well be a cut in 2025. Some of you might say, oh, he's under contract until 2026. His guaranteed money is actually out after this year, and the Buffalo Bills could save $9 million toward the cap for next offseason. So unfortunately, I just have this gut feeling that this might be the last time that we see Matt Milano in a Buffalo Bills uniform. I could be wrong. He could come back in December, make some crazy plays, and then we restructure his deal. He comes back. But it sucks to see this guy not be a part of the season, at least until December, but we're crossing our fingers for a speedy recovery and that he comes back healthy and the same Matt Milano that we know and love. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. Like I said, I wanted to give you some updates of what I saw during practice today, and then also after sitting with the Matt Milano news, how I think the Buffalo Bills are going to proceed. Please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications, and again, make sure that you do enter the contest for the signed Keon Coleman mini helmet competition. I am going to be announcing the winner on Saturday night, so make sure you do have those bell notifications turned on. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow.